Ridgid's Pro Gear Gen 2.0's all-terrain large mobile toolbox doesn't come with mounting brackets like the individual boxes, so if you want to remove the wheels and hang the box, you'll have to wait until early 2023 when the brackets become available. So given Ridgid's lack of foresight, I'm going to build my own large toolbox brackets. Just keep in mind, if you build your own brackets, it voids the warranty. I start with a scrap piece of 1/2-inch plywood, trace the top of a bracket that came with one of these smaller boxes, and mark the position of the top mounting hole with a screwdriver or punch. The mounting holes need to be 11 inches apart, so I measure 11 inches, and then use a punch to mark the location of the bottom mounting hole. Line up the punch mark with the hole in the bottom of the bracket, and trace the outline of the bottom. Now to connect the lines. I'm making 2 brackets at once, but it may be easier to make one and then repeat the process using the first as a template. So for the second bracket, once again, I'll trace it out and using a square, make sure the mounting holes line up. Honestly though, it doesn't need to be perfect since I'll be putting a level across the brackets to get the tops lined up. And that way the box isn't crooked when I mount it. I mark a line on each bracket, 1 1/8 of an inch from the top, since that's where the brackets will attach. Take everything outside, clamp down the plywood, and use a jigsaw to cut out the forms. The edges don't need to be perfect at this point since I'll sand out rough edges later. Unfortunately, as soon as I got set up, it started to lightly rain. Power tools and rain, never a good combination. Yes, it looks like I'm holding 2 large... Moving on. For the back of the brackets, I grab 2 2x2s, which are actually 1.5 by 1.5, measure 13 inches, and cut them. The tips of each bracket need to taper from 3/8 of an inch at the tip up to the plywood's 1/2 inch thickness as shown. I draw the taper onto the sides of each form so I don't take off too much material, and then use an orbital sander to make the taper. Once that's done, I can smooth out any rough edges on the forms. I test them out to make sure they insert into the box the same distance and make any necessary adjustments. Since I'm making 2 brackets at once, I line up the tops along the non-tapered edges, clamp them, and drill 1/8 inch holes at the marks 11 inches apart. To make assembly easier, I mark the center of the 2x2s, that would be at 3/4 of an inch, and the center of the brackets on the line marked 1 1/8 inches from the top, which was previously marked, and put some temporary holding screws into the 11 inch holes I just drilled. Before attaching though, make sure the tapered side is on the same side as the 2x2 or else the brackets won't slide into the box properly. On each bracket, I mark and pre-drill 3 1/8 inch holes through the center of the brackets, add a countersink, and temporarily put in a few 1 5/8 inch screws. Now I can remove the temporary screws I put into the mounting holes, which are 11 inches apart. I use a 5/8 inch spade bit to make shallow indents at the holes marked 11 inches apart, and that'll accommodate number 42 flat washers, which are 5/8 in diameter with a 1/4 inch hole. Pre-drill 1/8 inch holes through the mounting holes and into the 2x2s. Label which pieces go together, mark around the 2x2 for reference, and now I can remove the 1 5/8 inch screws. For added strength, apply wood glue to the 2x2 and reattach the parts using the 1 5/8 inch screws. Then do it again on the other bracket. Clamp or screw the top and bottom of each bracket, wipe any excess glue, and let them dry. 24 hours and a wardrobe change later, it's time to install them according to the mounting bracket instructions that came with my other boxes. Basically, I figure out where I want them, draw a line at the top of the 2x2, put a level across it and mark the other stud, mark 16 inches on center, then draw a line down each stud, 16 inches on center, mark center on the 2x2, clamp the first bracket and check that it's level vertically, Then I clamp and level the second bracket and attach both brackets using 3.5-inch screws and washers. Now if I didn't have clearance behind the studs to clamp, I'd have attached the first bracket and then put a level across the top and mounted the second bracket. Had I needed more holding strength, I also could have replaced 1 or 2 of the 3 5/8-inch screws between the 11-inch apart mounting holes with countersunk 3.5-inch screws to penetrate the studs, but it really wasn't necessary in this case. The box is going to store my pneumatic nail guns and accessories, which aren't that heavy. Done. Touche, Ridgid. All right, once I get around to it, I'll review these Ridgid boxes and the link will appear in the upper right-hand corner of this video. While the boxes don't hold quite as much as my DeWalt boxes, they're just as durable, less expensive, and I like the new mounting feature since it doesn't require any special mounting racks. I hope this information has been helpful. If it has, please do me a favor and hit that like button as if you had to build your own brackets because Ridgid missed their product sales deadline. And subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Ridgid's ProGear Gen 2.0's all-terrain large mobile toolbox doesn't come with mounting brackets like the individual boxes, so if you want to mount the wheels? No. Ridgid's Mobile System 2.0 XL Mobile. Ridgid's ProGear. Ridgid's Mobile. Be right back. Let's try it again. Every time I look at these brackets, now I'm just going to see. Touche, Rickett. Oh, man.